is the Convo Norm. Going solo for now. Mike Augello is going to join us momentarily. The Maple Leafs, a 3-2 loser to the Panthers in Game 2 of their second-round Stanley Cup Series. I'm just going to jump straight into it. I know a lot of people are super disappointed. When you look at the stats, it appears the Leafs outplayed the Panthers, but we know better, right? Shitty giveaways, bad puck management at really crucial times lead to Panthers goals, especially in the second period. The Leafs with a 2-0 lead and then give it away, and then not only allow the Panthers to tie it but take the lead, and that was that. Sergei Bobrovsky, look, he's getting a little long in the tooth in terms of his NHL career. He's won 2 Vezina trophies. He's gotten it done in the past, and man, oh man, he was fantastic tonight. On the other end, Ilya Samsonov, who has been rock solid for the Maple Leafs throughout, gave up some shitty goals tonight. Now, it's not like his team was that great in front of him. Yeah, they, took it to Bobrovsky and outshot the Panthers. Statistically, it looked great, but some turnovers, careless shit at really, really pivotal times in the game led to Panthers opportunities, Panthers goals. They're up 2-0 in the series. We've been so excited about the Leafs doing what they were able to finally, what they weren't able to do, and finally now capable of doing, and that's winning a first-round series. And here we are down 2-0 in the second round. So adversity is a really good thing, guys. It really is. You need adversity to achieve. But man, oh man, it's come on pretty quick. This fucking series could be over Monday night. And that's that. And then we'll be talking about how we got through the first round, but we look like shit in the second round. So it's going to take another 6 years for this team to finally make any sort of make any sort of hay, have any sort of presence, do anything of substance in the second round. It's going to take years to finally get over the second round hump. Forget about it. This is the Convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario. OakRidgeFord.com. 2023 Escape is rolling in right now. If you're looking for a hybrid car, forget electric. Okay, they're really super expensive, and yeah, they're all great, and you can take pictures on your Instagram and show everybody that you're electric. But they're very expensive to buy, and they're not that cheap to charge. A hybrid, a self-regenerative hybrid, one that you fuel your battery with when you brake. That's the way we should all be going. We cut our emissions down, cut our fuel consumption down. They're not as expensive, and they're friggin' awesome to drive. We have a Escape hybrid on the ground right now, but not many of them. OG's Conference, I help you constantly, and I do a lot of stuff that I don't talk about to help the listenership, the viewership get on the road, stay on the road. Get at me at Norm at Oak Ridge Ford on Instagram, and I certainly will take care of you. I haven't even pulled up the NHL.com recap yet, but I gotta tell you, it's kind of a demoralizing thing to be down 2-0 so early. Again, Mike Augello is going to join us here in a couple of minutes. Just down 2-0, and I told you straight out, and it's not like I know anything. I don't know shit. Florida's on a roll, and it may end up being a run of epic proportions. Boston was the best hockey team that ever existed in the regular season, and Florida came back from a serious series deficit to beat them 3 straight, eliminate the Bruins. And here they are, having won the first 2 against the Leafs. When are these fucking guys going to wake up and realize that what they're facing is a freight train? Sure, statistically, it looked like the Leafs, held a lot of the momentum of this game, but they gave it all back. You're up 2-0. Then put your, like, what does Mike say? Break their necks, step on their necks, finish them off. It just wasn't there. This second round challenge, what's happening right now is a completely different bag of toys than the first round. We cannot be satisfied with a team that has taken 7 years to get to the first round and finally get over the hump. It's not enough, guys. Okay. And I know there's a faction of fans who are thinking, thank God Dubas will be re-signed. Keefe will be re-signed. Nylander's coming back at stupid money. They got through the first round. This is going to be great. No, it's not. This team really should have been way deeper by now. This group should have been way deeper by now. It's, you know, you can't be reactive. You've got to be proactive. Mike Augello is going to join us here soon if he can figure out technology. Join the convo, Mike. Let's go. And I see a lot of you in the chat. We've got like 70 people in the chat, and it's growing by the second. Cost care of the kids or typical new generation. Where are you? They are okay just to get past the first round. You know, we don't know that 100%. Like we really don't know that 100%. It seems like that, but you have guys like Ryan O'Reilly and Luke Shen who've won cups. Matt Murray's won a cup. You know, Mark Giordano at his age wants to do things beyond the first round. Look, Austin Matthews, zero personality. I mean, have you seen his RBC commercials? Like, how many takes did it take him to spit out that script? Not ripping on him, but zero personality. Marner, no personality. Nylander, no personality whatsoever. Riley, no personality. Tavares, no. These guys are all world hockey. They speak with their play, but it's not enough. You are not hoisting a cup and being handed a Conn Smythe by just showing up and looking pretty pregame and then making some nice plays. You have to elevate your game. This is all new to them. They don't know anything about it, and this is new. That's why you see guys like Riley bleeding and you know he's got that fierce face. He's been down this road, and that's not. I mean, that's a good thing for him. It's unfortunate that the other guys have taken so long to get to this point where things you know, where things are brand new and palpable and intense, and you're seeing that you don't have a lot of time to readjust and get refocused. You have to stay in the zone. And the way the Leafs should have been following that game 6 win over Tampa is let's go. Game 7, game 8, game 9, game 10, let's go. What did they do? They came out at home against a team that resembles a freight train and just laid down. And then tonight, you know what? They played well, but that fucking freight train came back and beat them because the Leafs looked like shit to start the second period, gave up the lead and could never get it back because the goaltender they have, who's long in the tooth but has won Vezina trophies, is thinking to himself, you know what? I'm rolling right now. This team is rolling right now. I'm playing high and mighty right now. I'm going to shut this bloody thing down right now. And guess what? They did. Mike Augello's got to get into the chat, guys. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to try to get him in here real fast, and then we'll get his take. He's looking for a link, okay? So let me send that to him, and then I'll be right back. And here we are. Sorry about that, OGs, converts. Mr. Pingus, Norm, relax. Why? Why should I relax, Mr. Pingus? Why should I relax? I am relaxed, by the way. Whether the Leafs win or lose, I don't care. I mean, it's not going to change my life, but they're down 2-0. I'm a reflection of the fan base. Relax. Like, seriously, man. Like, what the hell do you think this is? It's going to happen. Mr. Augello from Chickawaga, New York, welcome to the post game following the Leafs 3-2 loss to the Panthers. You know, looking at the stat line, 36 shots for the Maple Leafs, outshot the Panthers, blew them away on the faceoff draw, 1 for 3 on the power play. Thanks for showing up with the man advantage. You know, we're pretty disciplined. 47 hits, you know, 7 blocks. They gave away the puck 18 times. And, you know, a couple of those giveaways were just terrible. Mike, just terrible. The Leafs on the stat sheet look like they've accomplished something. Unfortunately, they're down 2-0 up against the freight train, Mike. I have a fear, and that fear is this fucking series is over by Monday.
Well, it won't be over by Monday because Game 3 is Sunday.
Okay, well,
but
know what
I know what you mean, and I mean obviously this is this. They started like Game 2 against Tampa, where they were shot out of a cannon and had 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. And then not to say they took the foot off the gas, but they give up a goal to Lundell on a great play by, I think it was Sam Reinhart. And really, I don't understand this team when it comes to their sort of lackadaisical attitude, because coming out of the first intermission up 2-1, you would think that they would continue to do what they're doing, what it had worked early in the game. And instead, they come out for that period completely comatose. And, they're better players, including number 88, who, by the way, I believe he was minus, let's see, was he -3? Yes, he was -3.
Mike, his zone entries were effervescent, and he had a whole ton of shots,
I,
right?
I don't give a crap about his zone entries. I don't give a crap how many shots he had. He's like, well, William Nylander is on a run. He's not okay. If he's on a run and he's on a roll, then put the puck in the net. I mean, honestly, it's like I thought, game one where he had 7 shots on goal. He had opportunities, but he didn't really have great opportunities. Tonight he had great opportunities and couldn't beat Bobrovsky.
The game is too hardcore for him right now, Mike. These guys are guns a blazing. They are physical. They're in your face. They want to get to the next round and win a Stanley Cup. For William Nylander, again, he plays an amazing game, but there's just nothing beyond the metrics. There's nothing beyond his talent. There's just no heart there. And unfortunately, a guy like that is going to get run out by the players who aren't as talented, who have more of a tenacity and more purpose and focus. And that focus and that purpose is to win a Stanley Cup. Not just to play well, but to do what it takes to win.
Well, Mr. Pingus in the chat here said the Leafs didn't have a lazy attitude. I said at the beginning of the second period, they had a lazy attitude. They came out at the beginning of the second period completely brain dead.
Mr. Chris, 2002, Nylander was just bad. And then you have Mr. Pingus, who thinks Nylander was dynamite tonight. Again, it's the faction split. Keep going, Mike. But, it's just, two ways of looking at what's happened tonight. The fact of the matter is the Leafs are down 2-0 against a team that is a freight train out of control. The idea the Leafs are going to go into Florida and all of a sudden get a road win,
I don't think
it's a big task.
I don't think they're a freight train out of control, but the problem is that once they got up, Sergei Bobrovsky shut the door. The Leafs could not. How many opportunities in the third period? A shot off the post. Bobrovsky jumping up and making a save on Matthews. I mean, crossbars. I mean, they had a number of opportunities that they couldn't convert after Kerfoot scored the opening goal, and after a great play on the power play goal for O'Reilly to score the goal to make it 2-0. After that, Bobrovsky slammed the door. And, I do find a little fault in Samsonov, but honestly, like, I don't know any of those goals where he's supposed to make that save. Sometimes you expect your goaltender to make the save that he's not supposed to make. And tonight, I didn't see any instance where Samsonov made except for the save on Ekblad late in the first period where he made something that was out of worldly. So this team right now is in a situation where the New Jersey Devils were against the Rangers. The Rangers walked into Newark and beat them soundly in both games. I don't think anybody in their right mind can say that Toronto was the better of the two teams in these two games. Florida beat them physically. Florida beat them in goal. Florida beat them in the uncertain, the situations that teams win playoff games with, the little things.
Mm-hmm. Well, the goals in the second period happened because of glaring turnovers by two of the Leafs' top players. And they are not exempt from mistake. Okay. Certainly not exempt. And when fans by nature, especially Leaf fans, are quick to jump on a bandwagon or detach themselves from a bandwagon depending on how that player is doing. But any little mistake you make tonight, any little mistake, I mean, the Lindell goal too, like, geez, guy's falling behind. And listen, any little mistake you make in the playoffs is exacerbated a tenfold by a team that is hungry to outdo you in that moment and ultimately take you down. Look at, and again, you know, I liken the Panthers to a freight train out of control. Even out of control freight trains can be subdued. They beat the Boston Bruins 3 straight games, Mike. That is a huge task. And instead of coming into Toronto all petered out, they beat the Leafs 2 in a row. This series, Mike, and again, we got to stop comparing ourselves to the Devils or any other team. These are the Maple Leafs, where we really don't know what the hell we're going to get. There's a good chance this series could be done in 4. I'm hoping that's not the case. But what the hell tells you that they're going to go into Florida, run roughshod over this team with Bobrovsky playing well, with Samsonov potentially starting to kind of showing cracks, right? He's done pretty well. Are you just going to throw Matt Murray into the mix, right?
If
I mean,
if
we
he
are
was
a reflection of what we see, Mike. I don't like. How are we going to say at this point, hey, they've lost the first 2, but don't worry about game 3?
if Matt Murray was healthy, he would start game 3.
Right.
I don't think they're going to start Joseph Wall in game 3. So pretty much they're riding Samsonov, you know, for the rest of the way, barring any kind of injury.
There it is, right there. Florida's the luckiest team in the world, combined with horrible refs.
Okay, keep please. What a load of horse shit. Okay,
guy, he's out, man. Like,
no. Okay, I'm just saying. Florida is not lucky. Florida has outworked, chanced, and outfought in terms of fighting for the puck, in terms of battling along the boards. You know, they're cheap. You know, but that's the kind of team that wins playoff games. You've got Sam Bennett, you've got Montour, you've got Kachuk, like the Energizer Bunny running all over the place. They're winning battles. Sam Bennett knocked Matthew Nyes out of the game. Who knows whether Nyes, if it was a head injury or neck injury or knee injury, but one of the Leafs' most effective players in game 1 didn't play the second and third period of game 2. And who knows, depending on the severity of the injury, may not play the rest of the series. We don't know. I'm waiting to see if Sheldon Keefe says something after the game. But the whole point here is that for 2 straight games, the core group of the Leafs got outworked and outscored by the core group of the Florida Panthers. And if that continues to happen, then you may be right. Then it may be a 4-game sweep. And if it's a 4-game sweep, then, I mean, I still believe that, you're going to see at the end of the season a re-upping of the management of this team and probably Sheldon Keefe as well. But again, if you lose to a team that barely snuck into the playoffs, I think there are some questions about the makeup of this team, and there are certain players that should stay, and there are certain players that should go.
Right. And that's the thing about the playoffs, Mike. What was it? The 06 Cardinals won 83 games and won a World Series. Did the 93 Habs have any real business winning a Stanley Cup? But they won 10 in a row in overtime, and they won a Stanley Cup.
And they had Patrick Waugh.
Right. Yeah, but okay. But momentum is a thing. Momentum is a thing. And I know that right now you're going to have some Leaf fans who think that the end is coming and others who blame the refs and who, worship at the altar of 88. Fair enough, guys. Fair enough. If the Leafs were up 2-0 in the series and we were shitting on them, I get it. The whole notion of us being curmudgeons is true. You can hit us for that. You can criticize us for that. They're down 2-0. in a second-round series against a team that everybody wanted to play. We all wanted Florida. So what happened? Even Colin M, he's in here somewhere. Oh, if we, keep working hard, you never know. Right. That's the key. And it's not like the Leafs have been grossly outplayed. It's just the Panthers have taken advantage of their opportunities. They were given the puck by the best goal scorer of our generation. And what did they do? They buried it. Samsonov is going to show cracks in the armor too, right? Like, he's not perfect. This Leafs team needs to go get it. Nylander, Matthews, Marner, Tavares are great when they have when it's come to them and they can control things. They're great. They can control the puck when they have the man advantage. It's awesome. What happens when you're down and the adversity is palpable and that the clock is ticking and you look up and you don't have much time left? They really have failed.
Well,
and year out, they got to get it done against the team in Tampa that had it coming.
Well,
on a Florida team that just took down the best team in history.
The failure was that they were down 3-2. 2 minutes into the second period,
right?
And that a team that has struggled defensively all year held on against one of the best offenses in the NHL, held on for most of the second and all of the third. That is a failure of a team with immense offensive talent to be able to convert, to be able to score when needed, to be able to go to the dirty areas and get the job done. And this team, great. You had Nylander weaving through and skating around the periphery. You had lots of one-timers by Matthews and Marner making behind the back passes. I mean, none of that worked. You go to the front of the net like they did against Tampa Bay. You go to the front of the net.
Are we going to parade after this second round series loss just because we love the Maple Leafs? Because I know our friend Shifty 16 is trying to fucking orchestrate something.
Shifty, let me ask you a question. If a commentator comes on after the Leafs lose this type of game and blows sunshine up your ass, then excuse me, what is he detached from reality or is he telling you the truth? And I'm sorry, this team lost. This team lost because of a 47-second gap early in the game, and they lost because at 3-2 against a team that is not great defensively, they couldn't score another goal against the goaltender, who's one of the highest paid goalies in the league, but he's on a heater right now. But up until he was sitting on the bench behind Alex Lyon for the first half of the Boston series. So all I'm saying here is that the Leafs have to do what they did against Tampa to beat Florida, which is screen Bobrovsky so he can't see the puck and go to the front of the net. But Florida is a team that is physical, and I think I'm starting to get the feeling that they're beating the Leafs into the ground.
Right, and we wanted the Panthers. I'm going to pull up the community page on the YouTube channel. Everybody wanted the Panthers, Mike. Let's get to some comments, okay? Because we have
wait. Just hold on a second.
Go ahead.
They wanted the Panthers because the other option was the team that won 65 games. So if you go back, you still want the Panthers. You just got to beat them.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole thing. Your team has got to show up to beat the team that beat the Bruins.
Right.
Right now, after 2 games, they haven't.
So again, you have different mentalities. It's like, well, we lost the first 2 at home. Get game 3. When we lost game 3, we're down 3-0, but that's okay. We're going to keep trying, and we're going to somehow come back and win 4 straight. Oh, we didn't. We won the first round. Keith, Dubas, Nylander, bring them all back. I mean, again, there's a certain mentality with what we've done is good enough, and then others who have been through the rigors of playoff failures and have a completely different set of standards, who look at what's going on right now with a lot of concern, and then who will look at an elimination scenario with a lot of dread and wanting answers. So again, that's the thing about the Leafs fan base. It's big, it's robust. There's a lot of different opinions, and we appreciate it all. But at the end of the day, the concept here is to win. I asked about 13 hours ago, youtube.com/Leafs Convo /community, Leafs Convo poll. What's the result in game 2? So I asked you, about 200 respondents. Leafs win convincingly. 70%. They got up 2-0 in this game. What the hell happened, Mike? 2-0. Make it 3, 4, 5. Blow them out. What happened?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, they're playing a team that didn't quit.
Right.
Tampa in game 2, the Leafs got up 3-0, and I think they said, well, we're not going to come back in this game, so let's just sort of conserve our energy. And even then, Tampa responded, and the Leafs scored a goal, and then won convincingly. Tonight, the Leafs were up 2-0. The crowd was in it. I don't think they sat back. It was a great play by Reinhart on the Liljegren spin around the boards, intercepting it and throwing it to Lundell, and Samsonov had no chance. So at 2-1 at the end of 20 minutes, the Leafs still had to be feeling pretty good about themselves. But that's why I said they came out at the beginning of the second period completely out to lunch, clueless, comatose. And, you cannot have, and this is the problem that I've had with this team, in spite of the fact that they won in 6 games, and everybody's saying, sour grapes, or Mike is Mr. Negative. Okay, in a 6-game series that they won against Tampa, the only game that they led almost throughout was game 2.
Right.
They came back in they came back in game 3. They came back in game 4. They lost game 5. They lost game 1, and game 6 was tied after Matthews scored. Stamkos scored early in the third period. So they didn't lead very much in that series. They won it. They deserve credit for it, but they didn't lead. And in this series, they were behind in game 1 until they tied it up in the second period, and then fell behind again and couldn't catch up. And in this game, they led 2-0 after 16 or 17 minutes, gave away that lead early in the second period, and then never caught up. You cannot continue to fall behind and give teams an advantage, and never you at a certain point you can't catch up.
The fact that the Leafs are here is resiliency in and of itself. So let's give them credit for that. I'm going to go to some comments, because you and I have been going on, and there's just been a real robust discussion in the comments. Like this content, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to grow ourselves as the Leafs continue on in the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. Hopefully it's for longer than 4 games. Rob, Mike tells it like it is. The truth hurts. Hero, no heart, no grit, no pushback. JG, the Leafs are fine. The problem is Bobrovsky. What?
Okay.
Yeah, if he's a problem, it doesn't matter how good the Leafs are. It's over. It is over.
They have to solve that problem to win. Yeah, they have to solve that problem to win. I mean, the Leafs are not fine if they can't solve the problem.
Are they really fine when they give the puck away and it results in a goal? Like, get with it, man. Like, it's like you can't be like, don't go from a force of nature to a deer in the headlights. There's more than 1 series to play. You need to play 4 series to get this thing done. G-Man, time to bring back pyramid power on the bench. Was that Roger Nielsen?
Red Kelly.
Melanie Kuchta. Let's hope they are hungry for game 3. Let's hope. I mean, they seemed hungry for game 2, and then it, Florida just kept chipping away, and that's a sign of resilience. That's a sign of a team that is getting some puck luck and that continues to fight. And I told you, coming out of that Boston series, be careful what you wish for.
Ironically, the schedule is going to possibly work in the Leafs' favor, because if this game was on Saturday with 1 day in between, with the momentum, the way it's being carried right now, you would say that Florida has the definite advantage. But with 2 days off, maybe it gives a little bit of a break for the Leafs to sort of reevaluate what they're doing and address it in that way. Then there are 2 more days off until Wednesday when they play game 4. So it's not over.
No.
But I do not agree with going 11-7, because the 7 would be either Eric Gustafsson or Justin Hall. And where is there an improvement there? There's not. Now, I think if they stay with 12-6 going into game 3, and Matthew Knies is out, and we don't know. I'm continuing to look here to see if Sheldon Keefe said anything about Knies post game. But if it's not Knies, then they just insert Zach Aston Reese in the lineup, and then you have probably Kerfoot moving up on one of those lines, playing the left side, replacing Knies.
This is the convo for Oak Ridge Ford in London, Ontario, oakridgeford.com. NJ in LDN. MIB in Belo. The Leafs, a 3-2 loser in game 2 of their second round Stanley Cup series against that freight train out of control from Florida. Wow. I mean, again, the thing is, the Panthers are just playing well and taking advantage of their opportunities. But when you look at their lineup, Mike, you're not like, holy shit, this team is.
Here's some quotes from the post game. Sheldon Keefe regarding how the Leafs started the second period. Disappointing, baffling, frankly. On Matthew Knies not finishing the game, that's not positive, but had no further update on the status. That's typical of the fog of war when it comes to the postseason. Sheldon Keefe of the Sam Bennett cross-check on Michael Bunting is eerily similar to the one that earned Austin Matthews a 2-game suspension last season against Rasmus Dahlin. Of course, probably Bennett will not get a suspension because he did it to Michael Bunting. So anything that is done to Michael Bunting is deserved.
Are you being facetious there?
No, that was the. I mean,
that'll be the situation.
No, I don't think he's going to get. I don't think he's going to get suspended. I don't think he's going to get fined. Let's see here now. Okay, from James Myrtle, Samsonov on Bobrovsky playing well. I don't give a bleep, and the bleep began with an F. So, okay, great.
We know Ilya Samsonov can give a quote to motivate and give a quote to get people hyped up. Sure, he may have wanted a couple of goals back tonight, but when his crew, some of the best players on the planet, are giving pucks away like that in those situations when you can feel the momentum swinging, he didn't make the save, but they didn't help him. But Samsonov's not the problem here, Mike. Ilya Samsonov is not the problem. Even the best goaltenders can look somewhat average at times, and I'm sorry, he is not the problem here. And he due to character when he talks, Mike, and that's just the way he is. So I have no problem with him.
He's not the problem, but again, similar to what we said, and I think Samsonov had a much better year and is a much better goaltender than Jack Campbell. But similar to Jack Campbell last year, what the Leafs need in the postseason is a goaltender that can make the save that nobody expects them to make, like Vasilevsky, like Ottinger has done in the first round. Like
was that guy in Game 6 against Tampa, Mike?
Right, but I'm sorry. In Game 1, in Game 5, at times in Game 4 when they were down 4-1. I mean, coming back from 4-1 isn't an everyday occurrence. We know that. That's why
support from the rest of the team. It's like if your team was taking leads and your goaltending was just your goaltending alone was giving it back, so be it, man. There's just
I'm not saying that Samsonov is playing badly. In fact, in certain games he's played very well. But
is he injured? Daryl LeBlanc wants.
No, I don't think so. But what I'm saying is, for the Leafs to win, they need a goaltender to perform like Bobrovsky has performed in the first 2 games. a goaltender to stand. I mean, does everybody remember what happened in 2004 with Ed Belfour? Does anybody remember in 1999 or 2002 what Cujo did? Though that is what the Leafs need at times to advance in the playoffs. And really, they haven't, over the last decade, James Reimer didn't do it.
Yeah.
Freddie Anderson didn't do it. Jack Campbell didn't do it. And now Ilya Samsonov really hasn't done it.
Those goaltenders had more support on the fourth line than Samsonov has on an entire team right now. In terms of the way the game was played back then, it is what it is. OG's Converts, what say you? Like the content, subscribe to the channel. Mike and I are going to wrap up here in a few minutes. So the Leafs lost 3-2. They had a 2-0 lead in this game, had a real good opportunity to swing the momentum out of the Panthers' favor into their own, and maybe potentially play the best game they have all playoffs long. They didn't do that. Florida cut the lead in half in the first period, and then in the second period, they just took over in the early part, and then from there, it was a Sergei Bobrovsky show. So if you're upset with us for calling it or telling it like it is based on the fact the Leafs are down 2-1, fair, but what you're doing is you're placing blame or you're on us, and you're directing your angst towards the wrong place. It really should be focused towards the Maple Leafs. We are just a byproduct of what we see on the ice on any given night. They lost tonight. They're down 2-0 against the team you wanted. You wanted this team. Go to the community page, Leafs Convo, youtube.com. Everybody wanted the Panthers because it was going to be Leafs in 5, Leafs in 6. Guess what? That's not the case unless the Leafs win 4 straight, which they still could, but I don't think they're going to because the odds are against it. That's not happening. The Leafs are going to have to take this thing in 7. So be careful what you wish for. And we weren't careful, and look what's transpired. The Florida team that may eventually fizzle, Mike, but at this point right now, it does not look like they're going to fizzle against the Maple Leafs unless there's a huge turn of events in Game 3. Last word to you, Mr. Augello.
You can't depend on your opposition to fizzle.
Right.
You have to go out and beat them. That's why everybody rightfully wanted this team to play Florida, because Florida was not as good as Boston. But you have to still, even if it's a team that snuck into the wild card, you've got to go out and beat them. And in the first 2 games of this series, they got outworked, outchanced, out-hustled, out-hit by the Florida Panthers. And if that continues to happen, then we'll have season-ending media availabilities next week sometime.
How do you acquire killer instinct, Mike? Guys who are absolute stone-cold, sociopathic killers who don't care for anything other than success and will do whatever it takes to win. Like, how do you acquire that? I don't think you can just go out and buy it. It has to be developed. And
I don't think it has to be. I don't think it can be developed. I think a player either has it or doesn't have it.
Right. That's a conversation that we can continue to have. OG's Converts, you can talk about that kind of thing, because this is a tough one. It really is, right? Like we can't be just, well, they at least got to the first round. Yay. If this were Austin Matthews' second season in the NHL and Marner were just a pup, and Nylander's getting his feet wet. Sure. How many years are we into this run, this group together? How many years? What, 6, 7? And here we are down 2-0 against the Florida team that everybody wanted, everybody thought the Leafs would shit on, and it's been to the contrary in terms of results to this point. Mike, what are you writing at hockeybuzz.com tomorrow? Clearly not a pre-obit.
Well, postmortem of Game 2 and what the Leafs will have to do to turn the series around.
Right. Massadakis needs to go. So real quick, we should probably go, but we haven't talked about the coach that much. And you see a lot of comments about him. They're on Twitter. People are what are they saying? They're calling him Farley, and they're calling him names. And I've always been a Sheldon Keefe kind of guy. I mean, what can he do, or could he have done to have thwarted the result that we are lamenting right now?
Uh, that's the thing. I don't think there's much that he could have done. I mean, again, I'm somebody who, for a long time, has said it's on the players. The coach,
Right.
the coach can teach strategy, can teach structure, can motivate, but in the end, it's up to the players on the ice. And tonight was a failure of the players on the ice. They let up for a couple minutes, and that was all that Florida needed. And now they're down 2-0. And now, if they are not letter perfect in games 3 and 4 and come back to Toronto for game 5 tied, they could be down 3-1 and facing elimination, or they could be coming back late next week with their tail between their legs.
Right. And we haven't seen any evidence in this playoff so far, despite the success against Tampa and where they are right now, that they've been all world and that have literally taken over the entire playoff and just owned it for an extended period of time. So on one hand, that's concerning. On the other hand, maybe they burst out in Florida. They've done well in Florida so far in the playoffs, 3 wins down in Tampa. Maybe it really doesn't matter. They go south, a few hundred miles or kilometers, whatever you want to call it, into Sunrise and do the same thing they did in Tampa over the past few weeks. It remains to be seen. And certainly, guys, we're going to be here for it. One more question. Jim Giordatis. Okay. Question, Norm and Mike. If the Leafs get swept, does Dubas still have a job?
Yes.
He does. And I think that if Kyle Dubas keeps his job, earns another contract, it's going to be a different Kyle Dubas than the one we've come to know and relatively appreciate and somewhat love.
Yes.
That's
Kyle
it.
will be back.
Yeah, that's it for Mike. OG's Converse, thanks for being here. Like the content, subscribe to the channel. We have a couple days off between games. We'll probably do a show in between, whether it's Mike and myself or just me. We'll find out over the next few hours ahead. We really appreciate you. Try to enjoy this as much as you can for as long as it goes. We haven't been this far together. With any luck, the Leafs will just kind of get back on track in the series. Take it to 7. Right? Take it to 7. Give everything you've got. Play a game that we haven't seen yet this playoff, this season. That's all I want. That's all I want. And the thing is, for as much as the team leaves a lot to be desired, it's tantalizing because we believe there's more based on the group. We just haven't seen it yet. And, to this point, the success has been pretty damn great. However, it's not enough success, really, and we all know it in our hearts. So, Mike, have a great night in Chickamauga, New York. OG's Conference, thanks so much for being here. We will reconvene very soon. So, MIB, have a good evening. NJ and the Convo is out.